Hi, welcome to Express News, 100 News in 30 minutes. Let's begin. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired the Cabinet Committee on Security meeting today. The Prime Minister chaired a slew of Cabinet meetings, including that of the Political Affairs Committee, the Economic Affairs Committee, and a meeting of the full Cabinet. Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs approves 22,864 crore rupees project to develop a 166.8 kilometer long 4-lane greenfield highway from Molingkung in Meghalaya to Panchgram in Silchar district of Assam. The Cabinet decides to include caste enumeration as part of India's next census. India has intensified the probe in Pahalgam terror attack in which 26 people, mostly tourists, were killed on the 22nd of April. Multiple ceasefire violations took place across the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir last night. Pakistan Army initiated unprovoked small arms fire across the LOC opposite the Naushera, Sundarbani and Akhnoor sectors. Process of deporting Pakistani citizens or nationals began at the India-Pakistan-Atari border today. The process started at 10 a.m. in line with the Union government's decision to revoke visas to Pakistani nationals in wake of the terror attack in Pahalgam. While police vehicles brought some Pakistani nationals living in Jammu and Kashmir to the Atari border, many Pakistani nationals reached themselves due to fear of legal action. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar gets calls from the world leaders, including UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and his counterparts from 7 non-permanent member nations of the United Nations Security Council, condemning the Pahalgam attack. India's first ever WAVE Summit is all set to open in Mumbai tomorrow. The event will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. At least 14 people were killed and several others suffered burn injuries after a massive fire gripped a hotel in Kolkata last night. President Draupadi Murmu expressed grief over the fire incident. She expressed deep condolences to the members of the bereaved families and prayed for a speedy recovery of the injured. The Prime Minister also condoled the loss of lives in the fire mishap and announced an ex gratia of 2 lakh Indian rupees from the Prime Minister's relief fund for the next of kin of each deceased and 50,000 Indian rupees each to the injured. At least 7 people lost their lives and 4 others were injured after a 20-foot-long stretch of a makeshift structure collapsed in southern India's Visakhapatnam. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expresses grief over the loss of lives in Visakhapatnam. He also announced an ex gratia of 200,000 Indian rupees from the Prime Minister's National Relief Fund to the next of kin of each deceased, while the injured would be given 50,000 rupees each. A major fire erupted at a factory in the industrial area of Rajasthan. Fire tenders were rushed to the spot to control the blaze. An explosion occurred in an illegally set up firecracker warehouse in Virudunagar district of Tamil Nadu. Authorities are investigating the cause of the incident. The auspicious Char Dham Yatra of Uttarakhand began today with the opening of the portals of Gangotri and Yamunotri shrine in the Himalayan town of Uttarkashi. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami offered prayers at Gangotri and Yamunotri shrines. He extended greetings to the devotees. The Government of India today reconstituted the National Security Advisory Board, appointing former Research and Analysis Wing Chief Alok Joshi as its new chairman. On the birth anniversary of Guru Basaveshwara, the founder of the Lingayat tradition, India's upper house deputy chairman Harivansh Narayan Singh paid floral tributes to the social reformer at the parliament premises today. Indian equity indices ended on a negative note today. At the close of the day's trading, Sensex slipped by 46 points to settle at 80,242. Nifty 50 dropped 1.75 points to close at 24,334. Indian rupee ended 76 paisa higher at 84.49 per dollar on Wednesday. Gold futures maturing on June 5th were priced at 94,170 rupees per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for May 5th maturity stood at 94,158 rupees per kilogram on the MCX. Brent crude futures fell by 1.17% to $63.5 per barrel and the US West Texas Intermediate crude futures traded at $59.63 per barrel. Asian shares opened down on Wednesday. South Korean shares fell by 3.54 points at 2,561, and Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index opened 30 points higher at 22,038. Meta Platforms announced a new standalone AI assistant for smartphones that it said will offer a new way for users to interact with its AI assistant across devices. European shares climbed on Wednesday. The Pan-European Stoxx 600 index was up by 0.4%, and Germany's DAX traded at 22,526 points. The German economy grew in the first quarter of the year, escaping a recession after contracting in the last quarter of the last year. Gross domestic product rose by 0.2%. In Bangladesh, the High Court has granted bail to Chinmoy Krishna Das Brahmachari, former ISKCON leader, in a high-profile sedition case. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi announced that Iran will hold nuclear talks with Britain, France and Germany in Rome on Friday. US President Donald Trump held a rally in Michigan on Tuesday to mark the first 100 days of his second term in office, staging his largest political event since returning to the White House. Speaking at the rally in Michigan, Trump hailed what he called the most successful 100 days of any administration in the history of the country and promised to bring back jobs to the United States. Donald Trump signed an executive order intended to reduce the economic hit from multiple overlapping tariffs on automakers, yielding to weeks of intense lobbying by automakers, parts suppliers and dealers. Speaking to reporters, Trump said that the talks with India on tariffs were coming along great, and he thinks that the two countries could reach a trade deal soon. The US on Tuesday imposed fresh sanctions on a network operating in Iran and China, accusing it of supplying missile fuel components to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov on Wednesday said the Russian President Vladimir Putin is open to peace in Ukraine and intense work is going on with the United States. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio declared on Tuesday that the time has come for Ukraine and Russia to present concrete peace proposals or risk losing U.S. mediation altogether. A Russian drone attack in Ukraine's Kharkiv injured 45 people, including 2 children and a pregnant woman, on late Tuesday night. The British military launched airstrikes along with the United States targeting Yemen's Houthi rebels, their first involvement in America's new intense campaign targeting the Iranian-backed group. China's Navy conducted a patrol in the South China Sea on Tuesday, accusing the Philippines of creating disturbances and carrying out its own patrols with other countries. The leaders of Japan and the Philippines pledged in Manila to deepen security ties, including increased intelligence sharing as they grapple with territorial disputes with China. India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal held a bilateral meeting with Norway's Minister of Trade and Industry. The discussions focused on exploring new opportunities to strengthen bilateral ties. North Korea on Wednesday conducted its first test firing of the weapons systems of its new Chohaeon-class warship that it recently unveiled. The Swedish police on Wednesday apprehended a suspect following shooting in which 3 people were killed in the city of Uppsala on Tuesday. An Australian woman accused of murdering 3 people with a toxic mushroom-laced beef Wellington has gone on trial on Wednesday. At least 22 people were killed and 3 others were injured after a fire broke out at a restaurant in the Liaoyang city located in northeast China. Nigeria appointed Major General Abdul Salam Abu Bakr as its 15th commander in the fight against Boko Haram and the Islamic State West Africa Province insurgency in the northeast. An evacuation of hundreds of Democratic Republic of Congo troops and police trapped for months in UN bases in Goma after the city was taken by M23 rebels began on Wednesday. Heading for a short break, I'll have some water. You'll be back, don't go away.
I'm on a quest to explore the history of Goa. A land steeped in diverse and intersecting cultures and traditions.
I think this is one of my favorite pieces of art in the city.
Here, influences from multiple faiths coalesce in beautiful ways. From religious sites to charming villages and vibrant streets. Watch Postcards from Goa on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching Express News. Let's talk about weather now. In the United States, severe April storms whipped through the Midwestern state of Missouri, damaging houses and businesses, including a small private airport on Tuesday. The National Weather Service indicated that a tornado likely touched down in Fremont Hills, located about 15 miles south of Springfield, with the wind speeds reaching up to 19 miles per hour. The storm knocked down trees and left tens of thousands without power. Severe weather is expected to persist through Wednesday. In central Peru, the residents worked to clear the debris and mud left by a landslide that claimed the lives of 2 people and affected hundreds. The landslide was triggered when a developing lagoon drained into the Casca River, causing it to overflow and unexpectedly forcing residents to flee. The National Institute for Research on Glaciers and Mountain Ecosystems stated that there are some 160 lagoons with the risk of overflowing in the Ancash region. Cars were driving through thick fog after a sandstorm hit part of Iraq's Basra and Najaf on Tuesday night, causing poor visibility. According to the Basra Health Directorate, around 388 cases of suffocation were admitted to the hospital with no serious injuries. Iraq's Tigris and Euphrates River suffer severe droughts that endanger the livelihood of many farmers and breeders. A drastic decline in crop production also left farmers struggling to feed their animals. A massive wildfire swept through the hills near Jerusalem on Wednesday, forced the evacuation of multiple communities. Police closed the main Jerusalem-Tel Aviv highway. Snowfall in the morning hours in Turkey upturned purple tulips and created spectacular moments in Amasya province on Wednesday. An abandoned school in Japan has become an edutainment venue for foreign tourists who can live a day in the life of a Japanese student. The Student of the Day project began in November 2023, and the company now offers the experience around 3 to 4 times a month. More than 100 people have since taken part. Eba Lake in Turkey transformed into a flamingo wonderland as thousands of flamingos graced the lake. These striking birds are expected to remain in the region for about a week. The Eba Lake is an important wetland ecosystem, and it continues to serve as a vital rest stop for numerous bird species along their migration routes. Radio Television Brunei is hosting the Budaya Tiga Serimpun 2025 in collaboration with Radio Television Malaysia and Radio Republic Indonesia from the 28th April to the 2nd of May. In Budaya Tiga Serimpun, the delegation will produce dramas and poems, as well as they will visit interesting places. Acting Director of the RTP, Awang Kiong, will take part in the event. Diamond Mind Academy's Happy Mother program brought together 300 mothers for personal development training in Ulaanbaatar in Mongolia. Mothers who participate in the Academy's programs receive valuable knowledge and information on topics such as self-love, family care, and effective communication with their children. The Diamond Academy implemented various projects to help mothers overcome daily challenges, recognize the efforts, and ignite the flame of self-confidence. The Bank of Thailand received 10 kilograms of gold from the disciples collected during the merit-making event honoring monk Luang Tas' legacy. Luang Tas' disciples affirmed their dedication to the annual contribution to the national reserves, emphasizing that these assets must remain as national reserves. The Prince and the Princess of Wales celebrated their 14th wedding anniversary during an official visit to the Isle of Mull in Scotland. Prince William and his wife Kate visited the Ardura Community Forest and greeted families at the forest in Scotland on Wednesday. The red poppy anemone flowers have been spreading across the Ghab plain in Syria's Hama province adding beauty to the scenery. Trailer of The 9 Perfect Strangers starring Nicole Kidman released on Tuesday. The new season will premiere from May 21st. Nicole Kidman will receive the Women in Motion Award at the Cannes. Kidman will be the 10th recipient of the honor. Emmy Award-winning actor Ewan McGregor made his return to the stage in his new play, My Master Builder. The play was graced by various actors including James Norton and Minnie Driver. American actress Ellen Pompeo received the Star on Hollywood Walk of Fame. Pompeo was joined by her family, co-stars and creator Shonda Rhimes at the ceremony. The trailer of actor Dwayne Johnson's upcoming film, The Smashing Machine, is out. The trailer gives a first look of Dwayne as famed UFC champion Mark Kerr. Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts held its world premiere on Hollywood Boulevard with its star-studded cast. The movie is slated to release on the 2nd of May. Akshay Kumar's next installment of the Houseful franchise, Houseful 5, has begun its promotions with dropping the teaser. The movie is scheduled to release on June 6th. Writer Nikhil Mehrotra, best known for films like Dangal, turns director for his upcoming venture. Nikhil will make his directorial debut in the film led by actress Mona Singh. Actor Amir Khan postponed the trailer launch of Sitare Zameen Par following Pahalgam attacks. The delay was done as a gesture of respect for the victims and their families. Ajay Devgan's upcoming film Raid 2 is off to a good start in advance bookings. The film has crossed more than 3 crores in pre-sales. Indian athletes have topped the Asian Under-15 Boxing Championships tally with 25 medals, including 11 gold medals in Jordan. Chennai Super Kings face formidable Punjab Kings in the Indian Premier League on Wednesday. Cricket Kenya is all set to start its own franchise-based league, CKT20, in September to revive the passion for the sport in the country. The Olympic Council of Asia has confirmed the inclusion of cricket in 2026 Asian Games to be held in Japan. Indian cricket team captain Rohit Sharma has turned 38 years old. He made his debut for the national team in 2007. Pacer Blessing Muzarabani has become the second Zimbabwean bowler to surpass 700 points in Test cricket rankings. Indian men's football team will take on Thailand in an international friendly match on June 4th in Pathum, Thani. Paris Saint-Germain seized advantage in its Champions League semi-final against Arsenal as Dembele sealed a 1-0 win in the first leg. Inter Milan is set to face Barcelona in the first leg of the Champions League semi-final on Wednesday. Bournemouth striker Emmanuel Son has avoided a 3-match suspension after the Premier League club successfully appealed against the red card he received against Manchester United. In the Madrid Open, Aryna Sabalenka cruised into the quarterfinals following a straight sets win over Peyton Stearns. Defending champion Iga Swiatek reached her fifth WTA 1000 quarterfinals of the season with a victory over Diana Schneider. In the men's singles, Casper Ruud claimed a straight sets win over third seed Taylor Fritz in their last 16 match. Meanwhile, Francisco Cerundolo stunned top seed and world number 2 Alexander Zverev. And six-time champion Novak Djokovic has withdrawn from this year's Italian Open in a blow to his French Open preparations. That's all in Express News. I hope you enjoyed listening to the Express News as much I loved delivering it to you. Thank you. Have fun. Bye.